welcome to this week's hashtag Toe-to-Toe. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Andy Clarke once again. Good to see you. And this week we're joined by cool hand Luke Campbell, who we haven't seen for, what, 6 months or so since your revenge win over Ivan Mendy, but you're out again March the 15th. How's it been? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I mean, I've been up to training. That's all I do. You know, I haven't been seen for a while, but I'm always in the gym, I'm always training, and I've just been waiting to find out what's happening with the WBC and what's happening with this world title. And that situation with Mikey Garcia, obviously, is it frustrating not knowing and waiting? Yeah, it is. It is frustrating not knowing, because obviously I'm mandatory for the position to fight for the title. But that being said, I'm just waiting on someone else's decision on what they're doing. So I have to take things into my own hands, and I have to stay busy, I have to stay active, and this is what match 15 is all about. Getting back in the ring, staying active and performing, and then moving on and waiting to see what's next. Boxing, Andy, it's so much of a waiting game, isn't it? Is it hard, do you think, for fighters to keep the motivation there?
Yeah, absolutely, because with Mikey Garcia, this has been going on for a while now. He won that title in January 2017, that WBC lightweight title. He's defended it once since then. That was last July. That was a unification with Robert Easter. In the meantime, he's gone up to super lightweight, won an IBF title. We thought, I know you did as well, because I remember talking to you about it, that he would vacate lightweight and stick at super lightweight. But he didn't. He vacated at super lightweight, and now he's gone up to welterweight. I mean, it's very difficult to second guess what he's going to do. And the WBC don't really crack the whip with their champions. You know, they've got history with this. They don't really, and you're all just stuck in limbo. Well, Jack, that leads us actually on to the first tweet. You kind of answered it there. Jack says, do you think Mikey Garcia vacates the WBC title after Spence fight, no matter the result? What do you think, Luke, realistically? I think I don't think you can go up to welterweight and put the muscle on and be big at welterweight and come straight back down to lightweight. I don't think that's doable on the body. But listen, I think they might put him in recess, and if that's the case, then the title be open to fight for. Is that a shame to think, Luke, that he wants to test himself against the best? Yeah, it is. It is. I think probably the reason why Garcia decided to keep that lightweight belt and then he unified and got the IBF is because he really fancied that fight with Mischenko, but then the IBF acted pretty swiftly and took the IBF off him. So that's not going to. It wouldn't appear that that's going to happen now anyway. Lomachenko, of course, fighting Crawler. I mean, it's hard to second guess Garcia, but I think you're right. I don't think you can go up that far and then come back down again. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing with myself. Like, I can't just sit around and wait. You know, I want to. Keep busy doing stuff. I've been training in the gym. I'm training in the gym all the time. I'm hungry. I want to be the best, and I want to fulfil my dream and be a world champion. But I just can't sit and wait. So we're going out in Philadelphia. We're going to stay active, busy, and look for a great performance. Best way. Andy, have you been reading these tweets? Because you're leading them on to them quite nicely. You mentioned Lomachenko Crawler there. Steve wants to know, would you, Luke, like to face the winner of Lomachenko Crawler? Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that. First thing is, I'm mandatory for the WBC. That's my title. I want to win the WBC. I'm going to win the WBC title, regardless of who it's against. And then champion v champion, I'd love it. You've been going quite a long time. Do you still enjoy it? Are you still? I haven't fulfilled my dream yet. I'm very hungry. I haven't got a lot of miles on the clock. I stay in good shape all the time. I live the life. I'm very dedicated, and I want to be the best. Well, that drives me. Well, John's actually asked about that kind of subject. He says, what keeps you motivated day after day to cope with the pressure of boxing? Just the hunger of being the best. Because it has so many highs and lows, isn't it? It really does, and everything is planned around boxing in my life. It's not I plan my life and then boxing fits into it. Boxing is my life, and everything else is planned around it. So, but you know, I've put everything I've ever got into boxing my whole life, and I won't stop until I get what I want and achieve what I wanted it to. Well, you did avenge a rather big defeat against Ivan Mendy. Ryan wants to know, would you be interested in a rematch with, guess who, Jorge Linares? I'd love that fight. You know, if I get the rematch with Linares, beat Linares, which I know I will do,
then really I've cleaned my record. I'm back to an undefeated status, which is certainly where I want to be.
Do you feel that's the kind of black mark that you want to right the wrong?
I'd love to right that wrong, yeah. It was a very close fight. He nicked it in his, on his show in his back garden. And, you know, I was across the pond away from everybody, and I'd love to get that rematch and get that ticked off.
Well, Andy, obviously, Linares, he lost his last fight, doesn't he? Do you think that gives Luke a bit more confidence going into that? And what adjustments do you think he'd have to make this time around?
Well, he was up at super lightweight last time, Linares, as well, and after that first round defeat, most people were saying that probably that's not the weight for him, maybe, that if he was going to continue, he'd come back down to lightweight. I mean, anyone can get done in a round, and he has been beaten early before. Fighters are generally at their most vulnerable in those early stages. But it was a massive surprise to see that happen to him. I mean, do you feel that he is still best off at 135 pounds? Because you're not in any real danger of moving up, are you?
Yeah, not yet. No, I won't be moving anywhere until I achieve what I want to achieve at lightweight. But I definitely feel that lightweight is probably a stronger force at lightweight than light welter. But listen, this is boxing. This can happen. This is what makes boxing so exciting. That, you know, a good fight like that can get caught cold in the first round and is done.
Well, if you did fight him again, it'd be under a different trainer. Is it now you're with Shane McGuigan? Yes. Boxing Exposure says, what improvements have you made under Shane? And do you feel this partnership will get you to the next level? What's changed? What's different? Just
everything. I'm loving what I'm doing. I get to see my family every week.
Does that make a big difference?
Makes a massive difference. Yeah, I guess they're a massive reason why I do everything what I do. Why I sacrifice what I do, and I'm away from them all the time. And you know, they're the water that feeds my flowers, so to speak. But yeah, just working with Shane, being in that environment, training with the other guys in the gym, everybody's pushing each other. Shane, I feel like, is bringing my game up so much in every way. Footwork to boxing, working to my strengths, and I feel like I'm already becoming a much better fighter. And I believe these next few years will be the best of my career.
What do you think Shane brings for Luke, Andy?
I think a key part of it for you, as you just touched on it there, is being able to be closer to family. So the proximity of his gym is a thing. I know that's not the full package with him. That's just a geographical quirk. But at the same time, it's a crucial factor, isn't it? Life choices do make a big difference when it comes to choosing your trainer. But with Shane, whenever I've seen him at work, being slightly younger, I think, does help him maybe form relationships with somebody around his own age. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's when you've got a head for boxing and you can see things, I don't think it matters what age you are. I mean, he's had more experience than a hell of a lot of other coaches at world title level, for a start, and he's successful. He's very professional in what he does. And for the first time in my professional career, it actually feels like I've been learning the professional side of boxing for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, it really does. And you know, I'm excited where I can go.
And you've got someone like, you've got someone like Barry in the background there too, because Shane's very much his own man, and he's done it all.
There's a lot of experience, isn't there?
Way, but yeah, Barry as well. You know, I've been around them a little bit, and I think it's easy for people to forget of your generation or younger just how famous Barry McGuigan was. So when it comes to kind of handling pressure, handling the media, big fights, you know, there's nobody who knows more about that than him. And I'd imagine you probably had some quite interesting conversations.
It's great having Barry in the gym. He's very passionate.
Great stories as well, I imagine.
A lot of good stories. And obviously when you're sparring and stuff like that, and he's watching and he's shouting, and then you look over to him in between the rounds and he gives you the thumbs up and a little wink, and you know he throws punches during sparring, doesn't he? When he's standing on the side of the ring, he can't help it. Well,
talking of which, sparring, some great talent in the gym as well. Marshall wants to know, how's the sparring going in the gym with Josh Taylor?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, very good sparring. You know, we're two tall southpaws and we're very good at what we do. So it's very competitive spars, and again he pushes me and I push him. So it's great work together, and you know, you've always got that feeling in your stomach that you need to do better, you know, and being around in that environment and getting the sparring like that, that's what it does.
How important, Andy, is it having that kind of quality in the gym, having that kind of sparring available?
I think it's absolutely key, and of course you know Josh really well. It's like being back in Sheffield, isn't it? You know, you were teammates with GB, and he's just reaching a critical stage of his career. He decided to go into the Super Series. Hopefully he's got a world title fight coming up next. There seems to be some kind of doubt about the participation of Ivan Baranchyk, but everybody knows that he's on that cusp, on that threshold, and so you're both in exactly the same place.
Yeah.
In camp, I mean, when you're both down at the same time, do you live together, or how does it work?
No, he's got his own apartment. I've got my own apartment, and you know, we see each other in the gym twice a day.
That's enough.
So that's enough. You don't need to sleep with each other as well.
Well, it's quite, you know, these, you know, with Ricky Burns and Joe Cordina share Tony Sims' annex, Jordan Gillen, Lee Wood are bunk mates, Jamie McDonald and Anthony Fowler are living together now. It just seems to be a more and more
like, I'm good, thanks,
kind
Andy.
of common thing, but you need your space,
I'm
that's
at that
fair
age
enough.
now, I like my own space.
No, I understand.
You're getting old. Andy, I've got to ask you before we go, you're sporting a rather more snazzy T-shirt than normal. What's it about?
Well, I mean, it is a significant upgrade on my usual ramshackle wardrobe, but this is a Boxing Futures
Really brings out
T-shirt.
your eyes, Andy.
They've given me a few of these in different colours. This is a Boxing Futures T-shirt, and Boxing Futures is a charity that I've become involved with recently. I was with them yesterday, and what they're doing really is they're looking to take the positive vibes of a boxing gym, that feeling you get when you walk through the front doors of an amateur club or a community club, that you'll have felt that hit you like a blanket the first time you did it at St Paul's.
Yeah, the smell and everything.
The smell and everything, but it's
that
sense of togetherness, of belonging, of positivity, of hard work, and then they bring it to people who really, really need it. People whose lives have taken a turn and they've ended up in a place where they feel like things are pretty hopeless. So yesterday we were down at the John Howard Centre in Hackney. Cello Render, the chief coach, working with people with serious mental health problems, encouraging them to take an interest in their physical fitness, in nutrition. They're halfway through a 13-week course, giving them a sense of personal achievement, but working with people who found themselves homeless, youngsters who are in danger of getting involved in gang culture, things like that, who have anger issues because of things that have happened in their lives, people who just feel like they've been abandoned and isolated and thrown on the scrap heap. And they're difficult to get to a lot of the time. It's difficult to get into places like the one we're in yesterday. It took a lot of persuading. So that's what they're doing, and I'm just happy to kind of push it and support it as much as I can, because Anthony York, the CEO, and all of his staff are working so hard at it. And for me, this is kind of what boxing is.
Yeah.
This is what boxing is, because
community and
for everyone like you,
together,
for everyone like you, there are dozens and dozens of kids who would have gone through St Paul's who haven't become champions, but it's brought something to their life that has really helped them.
Yeah, most definitely. And a lot of the kids, even when I started St Paul's years and years ago, and everybody went different ways and stuff like that, but they still always go back to each other and still hang around with the kids that they went to the gym with 10 years ago. They've still got them friends of working together every night in the gym and sparring and stuff like that. Years later down the line, they're still associating with each other and going out and catching up together. That's what boxing does. It brings people together. And that being said as well, you work in health, fitness, nutrition, discipline, dedication, and you're teaching people to focus.
It just shows what a positive influence, isn't it, boxing can be. It is great. I'm sure we'll hear more about that over at due course as well. It's great to hear. Luke, we'll be talking more to you on the podcast. Yep. Very much look forward to that. So make sure you join us with that. You can download it. It will be available later today on iTunes.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.